If you fish from a kayak, then chances are you'll need to use an anchor. Because we are sitting in the middle of the kayak, accessing the best attachment points is near impossible and would require climbing along the kayak in order to access the bow or stern. The best solution for the job is a running anchor system. The system uses pulleys at either end of the kayak, and a loop of cord runs between them that has a leader that comes off and attaches to the anchor. The other type of system is the quick release anchor system that uses fixed pulleys and a loop cord with a ring in the center. In the case of the leader that connects to the anchor, this is connected separately to a quick release clip. The advantage to using a system like this is that you can release from the anchor. For safety, this allows the anchor to be ditched if conditions get too rough, and also allow the kayak to get on the tow when a big fish is on the line. In terms of anchors suitable for the kayak, there are two methods commonly used that involve either drifting or fixed. Both methods are used with various fishing techniques, but probably the most commonly used one would be drifting. Kayaks are more affected by wind than anything else, and as a result require a drift chute, sea anchor or drogue to slow them down when on the drift. It's important to select the correct size drift chute, and those specifically designed for kayaks are best. If it's too small, the drift speed will be far too high and you won't be as efficient fishing. The drift chute also needs a float attached to the rear of it, as this keeps it up on the surface and working more efficiently. Without the float, the drift chute would simply sink and sit directly below the kayak. Using a drift chute for fishing techniques like soft baiting, micro jigging and inch cue fishing will improve your catch rate because of slowing down the drift, and also help you stay in touch with the lure. Fixed anchors are designed to keep the kayak attached so it stays in one location. The system starts with a containment device, which in this case is a winder. Not only does it provide a storage system for all the rope, but also a lock-off adjustable system for the length. 50 meters of rope covers depths of up to 20 meters, and 6 meters of chain attaches to the anchor. In rocky or reef areas, use a grapnel anchor with prongs that bend to release from foul ground. Small 700 gram folding anchors can also work on reef systems, with the larger size better suited to soft substrates like sand. Anchors are best rigged with a breakaway system. That way, if they get stuck on the bottom, it's more likely that you're going to get it dislodged. How this is done is by attaching the chain to the base of the anchor where the prongs are. Then the chain and top part of the anchor are attached using monofilament line. This line is around 4 kilos and fairly easy to break. Whatever you do, don't use cable ties to make the breakaway system, as when these snap, they are released into the environment. The best way is to tie the nylon so that when it snaps, it remains attached to either the chain or the anchor, and so when you bring it up, it can be cut off and thrown away properly. The mussel farm and mooring hook provides correct and safe attachment to ropes. Another optional extra that can make a difference when using an anchor is the anchor bungee. Designed to absorb wind gusts, heavy swells and choppy sea conditions, the anchor bungee will smooth your ride. Using the anchor bungee and float is ideal when combined with a quick release running anchor system. Before covering the various options, there's one aspect with anchoring that we must take some care with. This involves using a running anchor system and the potential for the kayak to get side on to the anchor. It's a dangerous scenario, especially if there's lots of wind and choppy sea conditions. With the anchor system's leader positioned in the central part of the kayak, it can act as a pivot point that can flip the kayak over if the weight comes on. To avoid this from happening, try to draw the running anchor system's leader and anchor down the side of the kayak to the seating position. The quick release system is by far the best way to do it and allows you to pull the leader right through the ring until either the anchor pack and winder or drogue is sitting right beside the kayak and can be pulled towards the angler. When deploying the drift chute, care must be taken not to get the float tangled in the front guide ropes, because this will prevent the drift chute from opening properly. Throw the float end first so the drift chute lays nice and flat on the surface of the water and runs in the opposite direction in which the kayak is travelling. Then run the running anchor system down to the rear of the kayak. By now, the drift chute should be fully open and slowing you down. To retrieve the drift chute, bring it to the side of the kayak, pick it up by the rear float and lift it out. This will empty all the water out of it. With fixed anchors, before deploying them, it's best to run your running anchor system to the end of the kayak that you wish to be pointing in the direction of the fixed anchor. Let the anchor go over the side, followed by the chain. Do it slow enough so that the chain and anchor will lay across the sea floor. Then let out enough rope for the depth that you are fishing. Lock off the rope to the desired length and throw the winder and rope over the side. Wait for the kayak to swing around into position before fishing. Check that the kayak is sitting in the right position and periodically make sure the kayak isn't moving and the anchor has a good hold. When retrieving, care needs to be taken so as not to get side on to the anchor. When pulling down the line, try to steer the kayak using the rudder if available so as to point the kayak in the direction of the anchor. Then proceed to wind all the line onto the winder. Care needs to be taken when you get close to the anchor, and this is where you'll need to dislodge it from the bottom, so be careful not to throw yourself off balance and tip the kayak over. When you have heavy swell, it's best to get hold of the leader on the running anchor system, then run the anchor system back up to the nose of the kayak before retrieving the anchor. That way, if you need to let go of the anchor when trying to dislodge it, you can be assured the kayak will swing around and pivot off the front instead of the centre where you can be tipped out. Be careful when anchoring within mussel farms. Never use a traditional type anchor, and only a mussel farm hook is appropriate. You need to be careful when choosing a suitable location that you attach yourself on the side of the buoys where you will be drifting away from them. If you get it wrong and you're sitting where the wind and swell can lift and push you onto the buoys, then it's quite likely you'll end up rolling the kayak over. When connecting to the mussel farms, you must choose the ropes that run horizontal along the surface and are connected to the buoys. Never connect to the down dropper lines that the mussels are growing on. When disconnecting from the mussel farm, after finishing with your fishing, be careful once again pulling yourself towards those lines and mussel buoys, as a swell or wind can lift you up and tip you out. Want more information, how-tos and articles on fishing, kayaking and more? Then head on over to the NZ Kayak Fishing Patreon channel and sign up for exclusive content only available through this channel. Oh, what a ripper of a fish it was!